99% of nutrition studies, if not all of them, pit two groups of people against one another. Let's get the people that are eating a normal standard American westernized diet and let's compare them to a plant-based diet, which is fresh, whole foods, people who are actively concerned about their health and so they're working out, they're not smoking, they're taking their vitamins, they have a healthy life, high socioeconomic status, all that kind of stuff. Those people always end up being healthier than the people that are on the Western diet that are probably also smoking or drinking alcohol or do all kinds of stuff. They just don't really care this much. And this is like almost all nutrition studies out there because they're epidemiological, which it's not really a very high quality type of study where you get a person and you give them an intervention and then you follow them in real time to see what happened. Most nutrition studies are not like that. Most nutrition studies, unfortunately, are epidemiological or correlational in nature, where it's like you bring two groups of people, you give them questionnaires and you ask them in general, how often do you eat, this kind of food or that kind of food? And that is a very poor form of study. But worse than that is the fact that they're literally pitting people who just don't care and eat whatever versus the people who are trying to eat what we're told is a healthy diet, which is a plant-based diet that has no red meat. And so this is why you get those headlines, red meat causes cancer, or, be careful, red meat is a carcinogen. It's because the meat eaters are the people on a standard American diet. They're eating meat like in a burger or on a pizza. Nobody has bothered to enter that third arm where it's like the real carnivores, the people that are eating what we ate, the nothing but the meat, all kinds of meat. When I say meat, I'm not just meaning red meat. I'm talking about all kinds of meat, animal foods, basically. Nobody bothers to do that. And that's because the vast majority of nutrition studies are funded by the food industry. We have $1 trillion food industry here in the United States. And the reason why they can make so much money and have so much money left over to fund nutrition studies is because they're using very cheap drugs and calling them foods, and it's mainly in the form of carbohydrate. And so they have zero interest in entering a third arm and funding a study that's looking at carnivores, real carnivores, and looking at what those outcomes are going to be. Because if it ends up being that the people that are eating nothing but meat are doing the best out of everybody, how is that going to raise the income of that business that funded that study, right? There's a reason why Coca-Cola spends 11 times more money to fund basic nutritional research than our government or the NIH. Why would Coca-Cola fund nutrition studies? What?
Scary.
It is. And that's just Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Right? And now you have all the other food, they have no interest in doing that. There's no strong financial incentive because when people start eating meat, they get cured of addiction. So they're no longer hooked on a product. They're not going to overconsume calories.
And that's not only in the United States, the same applies to Canada and likely to Europe, right? Really?
1,000%. 1,000%. The problem in the United States is that any effort at regulating these drug foods gets shut down very, very quickly